शिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ So in the previous class, we have come to, somebody wants to join, admit. Okay. In the previous class, after completing Tatpada and Thampada Artha Vicharana, now Shankaracharya has entered into Mahavakya Vicharana. And in that, he had introduced a topic, how we have to analyze or interpret a Mahavakya from the Vedas. Samsrishtartha Bodhaka Vakya, Vishishtartha Bodhaka Vakya, and Akandartha Bodhaka Vakya. And first two belongs to dualistic philosophy, and all those people will only look for such Vedic sentences. Say Veda talks about duality or etc. something else, or Vishishtadvaitin, only Vishishtadvaitin sentences. Their eyes will follow only there. We always say Lord is the whole, the complete part. We are all the part of the Lord. But here we have to come to an understanding, means Akandartha Bodhaka Vak, the Tatparya of all the Mahavakyas. And we saw that, what was the shlok? Soyam Devadattaha example. That Devadattaha are some whom we know, but when after many years, when he comes and stands in front of us, and if you cannot relate, this happens to us, our old friends or relatives where we have not seen them for many decades, and when they come and stand in front of us, and immediately we take some time, couple of seconds to relate all those college days or school days, like a memory flash, it will go. And then we will, means what? That Devadatta is it you the same person? Means what we do at that moment, all those attributes which that Devadatta had, tad gunaha, tad visheshanaha, everything went through the memory, and now we see totally a contrast of that personality, but the person is the same, the attributes are different. Similarly, Jivatma attribute, Paramatma attribute are different at Vachyartha level, but at Lakshyartha, remove those attributes, retain what is the essence. That here Shankaracharya is using the word called Tadhatmya Bhava, oneness. So that we saw yesterday, and continuing. Pratyakbodhoya abhati,
Pratyakbodhoya abhati,
Sodvayananda lakshanaha,
Sodvayananda lakshanaha,
Advayananda rupascha,
Advayananda rupascha,
Pratyakbodhaika lakshanaha.
Pratyakbodhaika lakshanaha.
The shloka is the a repetition of what? Of the same shloka. You see the first and second line. Second line is the reverse of the first line. So A is equal to B, B is equal to A. So if we understand, or if we listen to the Mahavakya from the teacher properly, what conclusion we come? Maha already discussed, only one shloka. Preparation was 30-40 shlokas. Here, or maybe in one or two shlokas, he will talk about Mahavakya. Then again, the same old topic will continue. Anyways, so if we listen to the Mahavakya, the intelligent mind will come to a conclusion. What is that? Tvampada Jivatma has original consciousness, plus Shariratrayam. And RC is also the reflective consciousness, but I am not taking now. We will keep like this. OC plus Shariratrayam is Tvam-pada Jivatma. And Tatpada Paramatma is OC plus Prapanchatrayam. So what is happening? The attributes, one is having the inferior attributes, that is Jivatma. The other one, Paramatma, is having superior attributes. And both inferior and superior is temporary, is borrowed for some other purpose. It is borrowed for Sushtikrama or Sthitikrama or Laya. So what happened in Soyam Devadatta has to be applied here also in the Mahavakya. So whether you want to call thinness of a person as inferior or fatness of a person superior, it's up to you, whichever you like. So that attributes have to be dropped because those attributes are temporary. So separate those inferior and superior qualities of Jivatma or Paramatma and retain the essence. So Paramaha ignored, Jivaha ignored, are retained. That is me. Yaha Pratyak Bodha Abhati. Abhati means that which appears. Pratyak Bodha. Inside this Jivatma, inside the individual, that Chaitanyam appears in the individual. Chaitanya means that Atma Tattvam appears in the individual. Yaha Pratyak Bodha Abhati. And that very same Chaitanyam Saha Advayananda Lakshana. The same Chaitanyam here in the Advayananda Lakshana means he is there in the Paramatma too. That Atma Chaitanyam which is there inside me, in the individual, the very same Paramatma Saha Advayananda Lakshanam. Advaya means non-dual. Ananda Lakshanam. Here it means Ishwaraha. Advaya non-division. Anandaha Purna complete. These meanings we have seen. So what happens? So Chaitanya Jivatma, Atma Chaitanya in Jivatma, and Atma Chaitanya in Paramatma essentially are one. Essentially, this word is very important in English if you are writing. Essentially one. In Sanskrit, if you are writing, Tadatmyataha Ekaha. And he puts the same idea in the reverse order. So in the first line, I and the Lord are one, essentially. In the second line, Lord, Bhagavan and I are one, essentially. So I will keep on repeating this word essentially. Superficially, Viruddhatvat. Guna is totally opposite. One is superior, one is inferior. Utkrishta and Nikrishta Gunaha. But essentially, it is one and the same. This is called Jivatma Aikya Jnanam. See, only 2 shlokas to derive at a conclusion, but so much preparation we did. What is Paramatma? What is Jivatma? One shloka was there, Q&A was there, but the answer was given 2 shlokas. Okay, next. Ittamanyonyatadatmya Pratipattiryada bhavet Abrahmatvam tvamartasya Vyavarte tatadaivahi. So what is the consequence of understanding Mahavakya? In fact, I should say, what is the intellectual consequence of understanding or grasping this identity of oneness? See, all revolutions in the world happens only at the intellect level. Any revolution you take from the history happened intellectually. Nothing is happening in the world outside, and nothing cannot happen in the Atma also. It cannot and it will not happen. But everything is happening in the mind. Similarly, such Mahavakyas has to transform us intellectually. After having this jnanam, we will be that the same thinness or fatness, isn't it? The same bhava will be there. But in our mind, the understanding will completely change. Just as we know many examples, I know that sun is not rotating around the earth, but earth is rotating around the sun. This fact I know, but yet I continue to see a different experience. The sun is rising and setting, but it won't change my conviction, what I have regarding the sun is setting or rising. Sun doesn't set or rise, isn't it? We know this, but experience totally says a different thing. Similarly, in this Mahavakya also, experience-wise, Paramatma and Jivatma are two extreme points, two extreme attributes. It can never come one. Just as a fatness and thinness can never be on the same person at that point, these attributes also cannot come. How we can appreciate the sunrise and sunsetting? We go to Kanyakumari and see sunrise and sunset. In fact, it doesn't rise, but yet we travel, but we enjoy those plurality. In the same way, we should also enjoy the plurality of in this Jagat as Nimitta Upadhana Karanam and Swarupataha Swarupa Lakshanam. Both has to be there. At Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam, we can appreciate Bhagavan's glory as Leela. As Swarupa Lakshanam, both Bhagavan and me are one and the same. This should be there in our conviction. So this is the greatest revolution a person can have. This is the transformation. Okay. So once we come to this conclusion that essentially that Mahavakya is stating only the fact one, two important misconceptions are ruled out. One misconception is we come to know what the ignorance is. I had an ignorance of my own nature and the Lord. Just as I had the ignorance that sun is rotating around the earth. That ignorance will come to the limelight. And second thing is, continuing with that ignorance, misconception of what Paramatma is and what Jivatma is also will knocked off. Ignorance goes, misconception regarding the Lord and the Jivatma, the individual also is knocked off. There are two friends, example. Let's take, there are two friends who are very closely associated, intimate friends. But some other third person doesn't like this closeness and he will spread some rumors for these two persons. What happens? Without knowing what reality is, they will break up. This we have seen. But on inquiry, we come to know, sorry, all such rumors are only fake. But when they come to know the inquiry, they again become friends. So there are rumors in this misconception of Jivatma and Paramatma. What is the rumors? The secondary scriptures. All those Puranas are talking about the creation of Bhagavan, glory of Bhagavan. These are the rumors of Paramatma and Jivatma. So we don't know, but on inquiry, what is the inquiry here we do? Shastram, the first scriptures that Shruti and Guru Vakya Upadeshaha. When they come to know, they will understand, okay, there is no problem with us. What problem? Jivatma doesn't have a problem being the Atma. Paramatma doesn't have a problem being the... Only these two second scriptures created a difference between both Jivatma and Paramatma. So that rumors will go away. So see the shloka. Anyways, so this consequence goes away. Itham, in this manner, which manner? That the misconception of Jivatma and misconception of Paramatma goes away. How does it goes away? Paramatma is always seen as somewhere far from me, who's very remote. My Lord, if he is a Vishnu, he is somewhere far from me in Vaikunta. Remoteness of Paramatma is described. If my Lord is Shiva, he is in Kailasa, another remoteness. If your Devata is somewhere else, who Devi or Ganapati, that Lord is far away from me. This is misconception. Even after coming to Vedanta of many years of study, people still look for what? Saguna Ishvara Sakshatkara. The realization of Nimitta and Upadana Karana Bhagavan. Brahman plus Maya is equal to Ishvara. This many people will look for such experience. Shiva Pakano, Devi Pakano, Vishnu Pakano. The more you have that kind of a tendency, you are ignorant person. You are literally an ignorant fool, I would say. Because it is a misconception which has come, it is a rumor. It is clear rumor. Okay, so this is one remoteness of Paramatma. And what in closeness of Jivatma? Jivatma will feel very limited as a finitude, localized entity. This remoteness of Paramatma and localization of Jivatma is making both these two fellows, Paramatma and Jivatma, go apart. Separation is happening. I don't want to call the word a D. Diverse. Separation is happening. Paramatma and Jivatma, somebody have made us to diverse themselves. No, there is no separation at all. Think. So this finitude, this limitation, Shankaracharya in this shloka calls us Abrahmatvam. See the shloka there. Abrahmatvam. Abrahmatvam means misconception. Regarding whom? Regarding me and regarding Paramatma. Essentially one and the same. Itham, in this manner, may you properly inquire. Anyon Tadatmya Pratipatti Bhavet. Anyonya Tadatmya Pratipatti Bhavet. Anyonya means there is mutual non-difference. Tadatmya, oneness, aikyam, knowledge of oneness is there. Pratipatti Bhavet. Pratipatti means the knowledge of oneness, Bhavet, takes place. It happens. And remember, very careful. Whenever we use the word anyonya, I am telling it is aikyam. You should not translate into union. Union means what? Two separate entities coming together. But here that separateness never happened at all. As though happened, it is abhasa. Through ignorance nivaranartham, this jnana, when it comes, abhasa is removed. So union is not a right word. Aikyam is the right word. So how it in this manner? Tada evahi, in the same way, simultaneously, the twofold misconceptions. Vyavarteta. Vyavarteta means will go away, is knocked off. Vyavarteta or knocked off. What misconception? Tvamartasya Brahma. That finitude or localization of the jiva is knocked away. If somebody asks, where are you? For a transaction, you can tell, I am in Tiruvannamalai. I am a localized jiva. As long as I use the word I am in so and so place, you are out. This word in should not be used in Vedanta. Then I become a localized jiva. I am here, I am there. It won't work. I am in Bombay, I am in Madras, or wherever, I am in Bangalore. This in will not work. That makes a localized jiva. I am everywhere. Everything is in me now. 2 days back it came. See now again. Everything is in me. I am not in Tiruvannamalai, but everything is in me. What is the shloka? My favorite shloka. Mayeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishthitam, mayi sarvam layam yati, tad brahmadmayam asmiham. I am in the world is a misconception. World is in me is pure knowledge. I am in the world is samsara. World is in me is moksha. Remember Dakshinamurti first shloka. Vishwam darpana drushyamana nagari tulyam amele nija antargatam. Nijantargatam pashyannatmanimaya bahirivod yada ridraya yat sakshat prabodha samaye means jnana samaye yat sakshat prabodha samaye swa atma meva advayam tasmai shri gurumurtaye nama idam shri dakshinamurtaye. Whoever be the teacher, I consider him as Dakshinamurti who gave this knowledge. Think so beautiful. So this attributes of both jiva and parama has to be knocked off. Vyavarteta. And this both shloka, that is 40 and 41, is a continuation, because 40 talks about the misconception of jiva, 41 talks about misconception of paramatma. So you have to add together. 41. Tadarthasya cha paroksham.
Tadarthasya cha paroksham.
Yadyevam kim tatashrunu.
Yadyevam kim tatashrunu.
Purnanandaika rupena.
Purnandaika rupena.
Pratyagbodho vatisthate.
Pratyagbodho vatisthate.
Wonderful shlokas. Second misconception. But I said you have to link the 40th and 41st shloka together. How do you make? After writing the shloka, you have to add a third line. Tada evahi, which is there in the 40th shloka. That third line you have to add here. Tada evahi tadartasya cha paroksham vyavarteta. Full stop. So it makes a complete sentence. Because two misconceptions we have seen. Tada evahi and continuation of the 41st. Tadartasya cha paroksham vyavarteta. Vyavarteta has to be supplied. Okay. Now remoteness of Paramatma, where two types of remoteness. One is religious remoteness and then experienced remoteness. All bhaktas have this concept. I have to reach a place where Bhagavan resides. So that remoteness is knocked off here, which I told few minutes back. I have to go to my Ishtadevata's loka, knock. And the Ishtadevata odia lokavu unglode irukku. It is in you. Nobody will talk if he is a matured Vedantic student. If he is a balaha, he can prattle. Just as boy wants to visit few places, boy means a youth, because wherever his motherland is, he is not satisfied. He wants to go elsewhere, maybe Switzerland or Alaska, Alps mountain, isn't it? Similarly, we religious people, what we do? I want to go to that loka where my Lord is staying. அங்கே போனா ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கும். எப்படி இருக்க முடியும்? போனா எப்படி இருக்க முடியும்? முடியாது. So one is religious remoteness. Second is experience wise remoteness. I have not seen Bhagavan, or I have not seen the Atma. Atma Anubhava has not yet happened to me. Let me try. Another ignorance. So meet Brahman in meditation. So, hey Brahman, I write a mail to you. So and so date. You please come. Let us have a one-to-one conversation at 8 p.m. in the night. Let us meet together. You sat at 7 o'clock. 7 to 7:30, you had various thoughts. Everything was vikshepa, and you waited. 7:45, closing time. 8 o'clock, he arrived, and you meet him, and you say, "Ha, Brahman, I met. Happy. Atma Jnanam came. You are a Jivan Muktaha." What happens? He did 3 circles around your head because he wanted to give one kuttu on your head. It was not possible. So he did 3 circles and he went away. And you write a book. I had Brahma Anubhava experience. And millions of copies are sold. Think. This is a kind of remoteness. Religious remoteness, experiential wise remoteness. So both are knocked off. So tadartasya cha paroksham. Tad means Paramatma. Tad arthasya, knowing Paramatma with attributes. Paroksham means somewhere far away from me. Is knocked off. Vyavartheta. Then student will ask, in the same question, there is in the same shloka, a question is also been put. If these 2 misconceptions are knocked off, O Shankara, so what? Student Shankaracharya is only writing in such a way that a doubt might come. 2 misconceptions are knocked off. So what? What big deal? If you ask, he says, Shruno. Yadi evam tatah kim. If these 2 misconceptions are knocked off, so what? Then Shankara says, Shruno, may you please listen. There is only one I, which is Atma. There is no 2 I's. Not even letter I. There is only capital letter I, which is the Atma. And it is Pratyak, which obtains behind, or which is available behind the Prapanchatrayam and Shariratrayam. The same I is behind the Prapanchatrayam at the macro level and at the Vesti level, Shariratrayam. As what? As Sakshi Chaitanya. As Sakshi Chaitanya. And once I am the Sakshi Chaitanya, I don't become a localized person. I become unlocalized person. And that word is called Purnat, Purnat. I am full, complete, Anandaha. Life is happy for me. Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. Purna, Anandaha, Eka Rupaha. I need not look for Ananda because I am Ananda Ghanaha. I am of the nature of Ananda Swarupaha. Yet I lend Ananda to the mind. One shloka, beautiful shloka from Atma Bodha. It's there. It has to come out. उपादाने किलाधारे जगन्ति परमेश्वरे सर्गस्थिति लयं याति बुद्बुधानीव वारिणी. Beautiful shloka. It says the entire universe is in me. Mind boggling. Budbudhaniva varini. How vast is the galaxy? The same many vast and it cluster of galaxies is samstara, something they talk in astronomy. And each nakshatra and each planet is so vast which we cannot imagine. And everything is seen as a ball, like a rasgulla it seems. Budbudhaniva varini, which is floating on a river, which is coming up and down. ಈ ರಸಗುಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಜಾಮೂನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಗೆ. And each jamun or each rasgulla is like that one universe. And Shankaracharya is telling every creation, sustenance, dissolution, and add two more, anugraha and tirodhana also. Sargasthiti layam yati budbudhaniva. Everything is happening in me. I am such creation. Means how big I should be. If the entire galaxy stars are seen as some jamun or rasgulla, which is there in me, how big I should be. Akhandananda bodha. Only such essential mahavakyas can help us. But what are we doing? We are crying in corner, saying that, ayo, this happened to me, that happened to me. Think. Anandaha purnananda ekarupaha pratyakbodho vatishthate. As Sakshi Chaitanyam, I am everywhere. I am the giver of Ananda. Because I have knocked off these two distinctions, the attributes of Jiva and Parama. Okay, next. Tattvamasyadi vakyam cha tadatmya pratipadane lakshaut tvam padarthau dvau upadaya pravartate. Very, 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 very important shloka. Very, very important. Shankaracharya said, to come to the conclusion of Mahavakya, Akhandartha Bodhaka Vakya is the only way, not Samsashtartha or Vishishtartha. But Shankaracharya did not tell the process of attaining or coming to Akhandartha Bodhaka Vakya. He mentioned that's all. He accepted it. But what is the process or what is the method of communication? How actually a method of communication in such Mahavakyas takes place? For example, you go to a doctor and you have some pain in the body, because pain is there in every part. If I tell that it won't be nice. Every part there is some pain is there. You take tablet and you take it and it is gone. But doctor doesn't say how it works. If doctor has to say, none of the doctors will say. If doctor has to say, then there is a separate subject called biochemistry for that. And what is the measurement, what time to take, and how it works on each organ, where it will go. But that Shankaracharya has not told. He just told Akhandartha Bodha Vakya helps in Mahavakya analysis. So now here he says, we have to understand This all we have to derive from other Prakarana Granthas or other Prasthanatrayam. So method of communication is told in following verses, but not here. We have to draw. From which Prakarana Grantham you will draw? We have not done that. We have to take from Rama Gita. Rama Gita elaborately discusses the ways of communicating the Mahavakya. And elaborately there we have, the discussion is there. But here I will borrow from there and present it briefly. Very brief. Rama Gita is a very beautiful text for analyzing such Mahavakyas. Okay. Now listen carefully. Whenever we communicate words, that communication can happen in two ways. This also we have seen. Whenever we communicate a sentence to somebody, that communication can happen in two ways. That is one direct meaning, indirect meaning. And the direct meaning, we are not bothered because it is straightforward. With respect to Mahavakya, it doesn't work. But in the indirect meaning, which is called as an implied meaning or Lakshyartha meaning, we have three sub-classifications, which is a sub-process. And that three process in Shastra technically is called as Jahati Lakshana, Ajahati Lakshana, Bhaga Lakshana or Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Because through the Vritti of a particular sentence, Jnanam will come to us. Through the Vritti means a thought of a particular sentence, a Jnanam of that sentence will dawn upon us. And the dawning of knowledge can happen in three ways. Jahati, Ajahati, Bhakshana. Now we will see examples for all three. For Ajahati, Jahati is one, Ajahati second, Bhagatyaga. For example, we will take the second one, Ajahati Lakshana. For example, a person goes to a hotel to eat and he orders idli because that is safest. It doesn't spoil the stomach. He goes to a hotel and orders idli. And the waiter will listen to the word called idli and he brings it. What he brings the dish called idli because he knows how to prepare the idli and he also brings that. So when he brings the idli, what all else? He'll bring a plate and he will cut the banana leaf according to the size of a plate, and then he will keep two idlis and he will bring 2 cups, one for chutney, one for sambar. He has 2 spoons. He'll bring a glass of water. But what did the person ask? The customer asked. He said, I want idli. Why did he bring all this? So what was there in the mind when he said idli? So he had to bring all these connected components, items related to idli. Whatever is your dish, you add that. If it is masala dosa, you add. So you have to add. So what happened? So the primary word was idli, but the waiter took as lakshyartha and he brought other items connected to the dish. So in lakshyartha, implied meaning, so there. In lakshyartha, vachyartha is also there. Okay. Vachyartha was only to bring the dish, but he took the secondary meaning and brought dish related to it. And this is called Ajahati Lakshana. Bringing the items which is related to the main thing is called as Ajahati Lakshana. Now we'll go to Jahati Lakshana. Suppose after having a dish called idli, most of us would like to have coffee. And with your friends or with family members, you have gone to a hotel and you will order coffee. And father says, in that coffee, 1 spoon may you put what? Sugar. And the son says, half a spoon. Mother will say 2 spoons. If it is me, I will say very little. As though you are putting, you put, don't put more. So what will the waiter understand now? The word spoken was 1 spoon, half a spoon, 2 spoons. But he understood as sugar. Isn't it? He understood as sugar. So Vachyartha now was converted to Lakshyartha. In the Ajahati, Vachyartha was told, but Lakshyartha was brought, but in that Lakshyartha, Vachyartha was also there. But here in Jahati, brings both spoon and sugar. If he brings both sugar and both the spoon and sugar, it is Ajahati. If he brings only coffee, if he brings only, if he brings only sugar, sorry, coffee and removes the spoon, it is Jahati. ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. Ajahati is Lakshyartha plus Vachyartha. Idli is Lakshyartha. Vachya is the sundry products. Idli is Vachyartha. Sundry products are Lakshyartha. Okay. It is Ajahati. In Jahati, though the person said 1 spoon, 2 spoon, but the waiter thought 2 spoons of sugar. So he has added sugar in the coffee and he has brought on the table, but there is no spoon. So if he brings spoon and then coffee, it becomes Ajahati. If he excludes a spoon, it becomes Jahati. Getting? Main product and secondary sundry products related to main is Ajahati. Jahati is only Lakshyartha, but removing the sundry product. Okay. This is the second. Now third is Bhaga Lakshana or Bhagatyaga Lakshana. What happens? Here, I will partially retain something and partially give up something. Suppose a person say, means the primary meaning is also retained to some extent and the other extent is left over, not totally excluded. Suppose a person says, after we have in our tradition, after food they eat mango, isn't it? ಉಂಡು ಮಾವಿನಣ್ಣು ತಿನ್ನು ಹಸದು ಹಲಸಿನಣ್ಣು ತಿನ್ನೋಣ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ ಹಾಗೆ. So after food they eat mango and the person said, I ate mango. Now in mango there are 2 parts. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತರ್ಕ ಅನ್ನೋದು. In Tarkashastra they do all this kutarkas. So the opponent can never talk to you. In whichever way you come, he will put a checkmate. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತರ್ಕಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಓದೋದು. Always imagining, inferring, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, what is the possibility, next ಅಂತ. So the person says, I ate mango. But this he says, mango has 2 components. One is eatable mango, one is non-eatable. What is that? Seed. These all things we have not have thought of. Seed is there. A person cannot eat seed also along with the fruit called mango. Then he is some animal then. Isn't it? So what happens here? Khadya amshaha one aspect, akhadya amshaha seed another aspect. For some even they will remove skin. They will again vitamin C ante adu tinnalla adu beda anta. Okay. So skin is removed, seed is removed, only the fruit is eaten. This is one. What is happening? One part is of the product is being removed, the other it is retained. It's called bhaga tyaga lakshana. For example, somebody says, you are very intelligent. Nobody will say, but if somebody says, you are very intelligent, then does it mean when they say you, are they telling for the body or for the buddhi? As a person, you are intelligent. Means what happening? At the same locus, for a person, some is being excluded. That intelligent part only relates to the buddhi, his way of thinking, but excluding the body part. You are fat. Means what? You are not fat. Body is fat. In the same person, the fatness is excluded, but the person is retained. This is called as bhagatyaga lakshana. I gave a very simple example like idli, dosa, fat. It is easy to understand. In tarka, it is very difficult. Some example they give. Bhagatyaga lakshana. So what did here we do? The listener filters what is appropriate to take the meaning, and rest he ignored. And Mahavakya will work only under this heading called as Bhagatyaga Lakshana, not Jahati or Ajahati. Because Jahati, something else is brought, something is given up. But in Bhagatyaga Lakshana, attributes or properties are given up, but the person is retained. So Bhagatyaga Lakshana is a way to analyze Mahavakya Vichara. Jivatma and Paramatma in the same locus is been removed. The person is retained. That person is called Atma here. So Mahavakya is Bhagatyaga Lakshana way of analysis. And this is not something different, because every day we are using such sentences, but we are not aware of. Isn't it? You are fat, you are intelligent. All these we say, but we have not given a thought over. Means what we have every day we are using Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Use it for Mahavakya also. So it becomes easy. If somebody says, India, now IPL season. India is, IPL means within India. Okay. RCB is playing against Chennai. So what does that mean in Bhagatyaga Lakshana? Bangalore is playing against Chennai. What do you think? Whether it is Bhagatyaga or Jahati or Ajahati? See, Bangalore is playing against Chennai. Bangalore as a land is not playing with Chennai as a land. Bangalore 11 people is playing with Chennai 11 people. Means what? Retaining the player concept, they are playing. So it is Bhagatyaga Lakshana only. Sorry, it is not Bhagatyaga. It is what? It is Jahati or Ajahati. Jahati. Players have been retained. Two players of a state or a country. India is playing against. So land-wise, they are not being taken. They are representing a country. What happens? So what Lakshyartha it is? Jahati Lakshyartha. Ajahati means what? A sundry product of, not sundry, a related product of the main product has to be there. Idli bantu. Idli jote saala bandre Ajahati. Here, players are only there. Representing a country, it is only Jahati. Means what? Now take that coffee and sugar example. So it is Jahati. So Bhagatyaga Lakshana cannot work here. So keeping this in background, come to the shloka. Shankaracharya doesn't say all this. He will think we are all Uttama students and just walks over. We have to analyze, taking from somewhere else. Tattvamasyadi Vakyam. That statement called Tattvamasi, what it will convey? The word convey in the shloka is called as Upadaya. Conveys what? That Tattvamasyadi Vakyam conveys the secondary meaning. That secondary meaning is called Lakshau, dual form. Lakshau tat tvam padarthau dvau. Tatpada lakshyartha, tvam-pada lakshyartha dvau, two lakshyarthas, upadaya. That is Tattvamasi Mahavakyam is conveying two implied meaning of tat and tvam, upadaya, pravartate. It can only function, pravartate means function. It can only function in the implied way. Again, Tattvamasyadi Mahavakya can work only in the implied way, method, not the other way. And what is the purpose of Lakshyartha? Oneness. Tadatmya Pratipadane. Tadatmya Pratipadane. Tadatmya means aikyam. Pratipadane means to reveal. To reveal the oneness or the aikyam of the Lakshyartha of Tat and Tvam, Mahavakya is employed. And what about Asi? Asi has to be employed together. Tat, Tvam and Asi. Because Asi is always present, a verb, which I have told. It has to be employed together. Is a Lakshyartha or Vachyartha? Asi is Mukhyartha. That is Vachyartha. Because when we take two Tvam, one Tvam, sorry, Tat and Tvam as Lakshyartha, you cannot make Asi as Lakshyartha. Asi is the factor. That is Vakyartha. That Brahma is me, the Atma, is Asi. If you make Asi as Lakshyartha, as though that Brahma is this Atma, it seems. It becomes like that. It should be a fact. Asi is always Mukhyartha, the direct meaning. But two Tat and Tvam is Lakshyartha. Swamiji, bitbidi namna. ಡ್ರಿಲ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಡ್ರಿಲ್ ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹುಳ ಬಿಡೋದು ಅದಿದು. But worth knowing, clarity comes to us only by knowing through such statements. Like ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲಿ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎನಿವೇಸ್, ಸೊ ತಾದಾತ್ಮ್ಯ ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದನೆ ತತ್ವಮಸ್ಯಾದಿ ಮಹಾವಾಕ್ಯಂ ಪ್ರತಿಪಾದಿತವಾ. ಸರಿ, with this we will conclude and continue tomorrow. Om Sham Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.